I'm going through an Abominable Snowman phase, so I thought I'd do some research on some upcoming Abominable Snowman movies. And I checked out some older Abominable Snowman, also known as the Yeti Movies, which is basically the Sasquatch Bigfoot version in the Himalayas mountain snow range in Nepal. Basically, where Mount Everest is. The legend dates back to the 1800s. And it's 2012, and basically, they really haven't even made a great Abominable Snowman movie as you might think. Um, First, let's talk about the beginning. The Abominable Snowman movie, 1957, featuring Peter Cushing, the legendary horror actor. It was his first Hammer horror film. Then he went on to do Frankenstein next, The Curse of Frankenstein, where he played Dr. Victor Frankenstein. But in this, he plays a scientific researcher, and he decides to go along the expedition. He wasn't even in the Himalayas. He was there to do some plant research. And basically, I'm going to do a mini review of that. And basically, it's pretty dated, and you got to imagine that the technology was limited at the time, so you can't really do that much creative on-location filming. It was all pretty much filmed in a studio, and ever since then, all the other Abominable Snowman or Yeti movies have been pretty much low budget, nothing. And then, as of 2009, there was news that Sam Raimi, who's produced a number of horror films with no-name directors, basically, who pitch him good ideas, and I think it was going to be a found footage film with a guy named Corin Hardy. You could do the research where it was going to be a movie called Refuge. That appears to be dead now. You haven't heard much on it since '09, and he's done a number of other things, and now he's producing Poltergeist. And you don't really see that in the credits of this other British director who did it. So I'd have to say, Hammer Horror is basically making a comeback, and they're starting to remake some of their movies. Well, they did The Lady in Black with Daniel Radcliffe, and they did Let Me In, the vampire movie with Chloe Moretz, and I would love to see them remake their version of Abominable Snowman. They could really update the tale, since there really hasn't been a good one for us fans, or for there's got to be a fan base for it where if they made an actual dope one. They did one with CGI, and they did Abominable Snowman with CGI in The Mummy 3. If you haven't seen that one yet, that's a pretty sweet scene that they show. And if they could do something like that where they could capture that, no independent studio, I want a big budget so that it could be actually dope. Do it kind of like the same storyline of the Abominable Snowman 1957. Man, that movie's horrible. It's just a bunch of British chatter for most of it. You don't even get to see most of the goods. Their version of the Yeti is more ape-like, and the Yeti is kind of like a primitive creature, but on that, the twist on that is that they make the Yeti an intelligent creature, and that he's been hiding out in the Himalayas, plotting their takeover, waiting for mankind to destroy themselves before they take over. It's really stupid. If they're so primitive, why are they walking around like they're high school janitors or something, like lumbering around? I don't know why they focus that on the twist or anything. Then there's the Star Wars version of the Abominable Snowman, the Wampa. I love that scene. Then there's the extended scene in the special edition. You can play with Wampas on Star Wars Battlefront 2, but any added information I'll try to add in the description. But as of now, I just wanted to do this video as a discussion on Abominable Snowman and make a pitch to Hollywood. That would be interesting to see a big budget Abominable Snowman Yeti version take on this myth. And pretty much I'm out now. I was going to say, oh yeah, there's the Unsolved Mysteries episode where they talk about the legend of the unsolved mystery of the Yeti and the Himalayas. That's a pretty good episode. You could check that out on YouTube. Anyway, this is JBM from VillainNews. I'm out.